So if anybody understands about energy, you're gonna know that energy can be measured, right? So there's a rank to how much energy something can have, and so some places on the planet have more energy than others. Whether that, and usually it's because of natural resources, usually because there's something special in that place energetically, maybe like the mountains, or maybe like a river, or that there's crystals in the ground, or that there's like maybe the sun lands at a certain way.
Yeah.
So some places are just got more energy than others. Egypt has a lot of energy, and it's undeniable. Whenever you're there, when I was there, I was trying to resist staying.
Why was that? What was you trying to resist in the first place? What was you trying to resist?
Because my friends were saying to me, like, when you go to this place you're going, people, it's like Bermuda Triangle. People like don't come back.
Oh, okay, one of them ones, bro.
One of them ones, bro.
I better pack my bags and go.
Pack my bags and
yeah.
No, but when they'd say it, they'd say it in like a way that's like,
trust me.
They're like, trust me, it's blessed. Like, you're not gonna want to leave this place. And so what I was resisting was, I was resisting that feeling of like, I'm gonna enjoy it so much that I'm not gonna want to leave, because I feel like I've got stuff to do back here, but I didn't have anything to do back here. Get me?
I hear you. I read the honesty though.
So that was
Rees. Yeah, go ahead.
That was basically what it was. And so I ended up like, just choosing to stay, and being fulfilled by it. I taught Kung Fu out there. I teach a lot of Kung Fu. I'm an author. I own a publishing company, so I teach Kung Fu, I teach Tai Chi, I teach 4 styles of Kung Fu, including Tai Chi, Wing Chun, Shaolin, and Bagua Zhang. I'm a publisher and an author, so I do a lot of things. And so I got to do all those things while I was out there in Egypt, and there's a community for it. There's a whole lane of people who really enjoyed my services when I was out there.
Yeah. What's that number one thing that when you went there, when you got there and you started taking in the vibe, like what's that number one thing that really, that I think this is the right word, captured your emotion, your imagination to be like raw, like what's that one main thing that made you fall in love with Egypt, should I say?
Oh,
my guy's reminiscing right now, like flashbacks. Don't worry, you're physically onto the red chair, mentally you're in Egypt. It's cool, man.
Egypt like that, yeah. Sinai Sweet and that.
Yeah, bro.
So many things, man.
Yeah?
It's the way of life, bro. Yeah. It's the way of life.
Yeah.
Like, if I just explain the way of life, it's like,
you're making me want to book it. Sorry to even cut you, bro. You're making me want to book a ticket even now if I could, bro.
Trust me.
Yeah. Mad. Yo, bro. Like, sometimes when someone's talking about something and you're proper taking in the energies and the vibe, the way they're describing it, it's like, bruv, is that, bruv?
That?
Yeah. So the first time you went there, like I said, at the beginning of lockdown, how long initially did you stay there for?
I was just there for 3 days.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, I was supposed to be there for 7 days. Yeah, but I was just there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went there for literally the first time for 3 days, and the second time you went, how long did you stay there for? The second time?
I was supposed to be there for 10 days.
Yeah.
And then I stayed for 5 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I guess your brethren, basically I was getting to this, like your brethren were right. Like once you go there, especially the second time, like you're not going to want to leave, right?
Yeah.
And even the first...
And particularly Sinai.
Yeah.
It's Sinai. It's that...
Where you were staying, the area where you were staying.
Yeah, it's called Sinai. Research this place because it's like... It looks like the different Egypt. Like, it doesn't look like If you look on the map, let me show you on the map. I'll show you because it's important that you understand.
Roughly, like, what's the population of the people?
Well, in Egypt, I don't even know.
Not Egypt. Where you
Sinai? Sinai? Well,
yeah, roughly. Like,
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you.
cool, let me see.
But like,
Yeah, if you just put on the comment, yeah, they can
tell me, are we there? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Cool. So we got Egypt here, yeah, this big square. And then if I zoom in to the top right,
There we go.
you've also got this triangle here, this upside down triangle. But this is all still Egypt, remember? Egypt's big.
Oh, right.
It's that big piece of square land. But it's got this piece here,
Yeah.
and this is called Sinai. This triangle.
If you just put the phone up just a little bit. Yeah, right there, perfect.
So this is called Sinai. This triangle here.
Now that triangle.
Yeah, just that triangle. But remember, you see if I zoom out, like that triangle's tiny and it's on the top right, like.
Yeah, right.
So it's a whole different piece of land there. It's all mountains. And essentially, it's where Moses parted the Red Sea. If you go over, then modern day Israel is just there, just the border.
Yeah, that's how I was even
Saudi
thinking.
Arabia's
Jordan.
just there.
I see Jordan around it as well.
Yeah, it's all there.
Libya.
Yeah.
Just in and around it. Saudi Arabia, not too far as well.
It's just across the water.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
So that place is where all of like if anyone watching grew up Muslim, Christian or Jewish, that all of the stories were in Sinai. Like they're in this place.
Okay.
This is where it's all taking place.
Yeah.
And so
go on, continue, bro.
Yeah. So like the energy is high. The energy's high. It's high. Like it's clear that there's something energetically going on that's positive there. You know, and it shows.
And you see, like in terms of like, you know, like culture wise, for the people that want to know, like in terms of like culture, the way of living, like, is it quite a religious kind of place, or they're quite relaxed when it comes to like whatever religion, like, you know, a person has? Because obviously sometimes you might, you know, like.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can have whatever religion, you can practice whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's predominantly like Muslim and Coptic Christian in Egypt.
Okay. What's Coptic? I've never heard of that word before.
Coptic, you might have to research exactly what it is, but it's like, it's like, I can't even speak on it. I shouldn't even speak on it because I don't know too much.
No, that's so good, man. Yeah. You touched on you're also an author, yeah?
Yes.
Talk to us about that. How long have you been an author for, and what's going on there? Man's an author, you know, writing books and things.
Books and things.
Yeah. How's that, man?
So yes, so when I was 23, I wrote my first book.
Congratulations with that.
Thank you very much.
Title of the book?
Title of the book is Comprehensive Qigong Manual. You can find it on Amazon. And if you can't find it on Amazon, then just go to my Instagram, which is Rees the Flame, and you'll be able to find it there. So I wrote that book, and shortly after that, I opened up a publishing company.
Okay.
Making journals and making like journals for meditation, journals for people who are practicing like mindfulness, people who are very bespoke journals as well, like journals for men, journals for women, and gratitude, and like journals for black men, and people who are microdosing, people who are biohacking, people who are like doing all these things that are very specific to their well-being and their spirituality. And so it's called Better Energy Publishing. You can check us out on Instagram. And we also help people publish their first book, or we assist the process by designing, formatting, and assisting you on publishing your first book. So it's been really good because the baby business is like 1.5 years, but we've helped out a lot of people, and
bro, amazing.
It's really well.
Because even for me, like in future, definitely I'd like to write a few books, man. So we might have to do some work together, definitely.
Yes.
Like,
I know you have things to say.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I've got quite a lot of different ideas. I want to write a lot of different types of books, like, you know. And for me, like, I believe in like very, very short book, very small books, but powerful. You know, those kind of books that basically like get straight to the point, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Yeah, bro.
relate.
Yeah, bro. And even talk about better, obviously, my apologies if I pronounce this wrong in there. Better gong. How do you pronounce it? Better ching gong.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like, talk to us, like, for anyone who do not know what is that and what's that all about, like, speak to us about it, yeah.
Qigong. So Qigong is energy, playing with energy. Essentially, Qi is energy, and Gong is work. So Qigong is your pursuit of working with your energy or mastering your energy work. If I could give you like an example that you're all gonna know, it's like if you ever watch Dragon Ball Z, or you've seen people do karate, or like any Chinese martial arts in the movies,
like Bruce Lee and
man like Karate Kid. There's always that moment in the movie where you see them training and they're doing all the fighting moves, but then you see that particular moment where they're going and they're just cultivating all this peace and focus and direction and centeredness. They're doing Qigong.
Okay.
That's what Qigong is.
Okay. How did you get into it? First of all, how did you get into it, and how long have you been practicing it?
Yeah. And I said this in my book as well. Like, I started Qigong when I was like, I think I was like 18 or 19, because essentially I grew up with epilepsy when I was younger.
Okay.
And so I took lots of pharmaceutical drugs, and they quite frankly, they messed me up.
One of them ones.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Messed me up. And one of the things that they left me with was the side effect of like having, do you know what Muhammad Ali had later on in his life, where his hands do this?
If I get this one wrong,
it's okay.
My apologies. Is it kind of like Parkinson kind of thing?
He had Parkinson's, yes.
Okay.
And kind of like the personality of Parkinson's is to have your
shaking. Yeah.
So I didn't have Parkinson's.
Okay.
But what I did have
shakes.
Is the shakes.
Okay.
And so all throughout school, writing was difficult. I told you.
Yeah.
In school, I was not academic because it was difficult for me to keep steady.
Yeah.
But when it came to athletic stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, my body is powerful, so... Yeah. But when it comes to, like...
Writing
and fine motor skills, it was a struggle for me. So, amongst that struggle, I was working in the Middle East, and I had a really great job when I was 18. I worked for the royal family of a particular country called Kuwait. Yeah, the Al Sabahis.
Big up Kuwait.
Big up Kuwait. Big up.
Dope. So, I heard so many amazing things about that country, you know, Kuwait. Yeah, dope. Yeah.
Just like that, bro.
Yeah.
And so when it came to living there, I still had these shakes and I wanted to slow them down, so I started doing Qigong.
Okay. Sorry, no, continue, bro.
I was just gonna say within like, just to wrap it up, like within, must have been like 2 minutes after I finished the session, I was just shocked at looking at my hands and seeing how like
they're
stable.
They're not shaking anymore.
Yeah, it must have been 10 years that I hadn't seen them.
Bro. Who got you into what I was gonna ask you next was, who got you into it? Like, who made you aware of it? Yeah, like, who got you into it, or you just came across it and you started diving into it?
Yeah, I don't know who in particular.
Yeah,
but I was progressive, so I was always kind of looking for new things.
I hear you. Your relationship with Shalina. First and foremost, I want to big her up. Like I said to you earlier, me and her had a lovely conversation on IG Live, aka Instagram Live, and again, like I said, I see your relationship with her, like, on the socials. From what I see, I don't see everything, but from what I see, bro, honestly, that's one of the most beautiful, like, relationships that I see, man. It's really, really good to see, man. Yeah. How did you come across her, and how is your relationship with Shalina?
Big up Shalina on the first one.
Come on. Incredible woman.
I met Shalina on the beach in Kuwait.
Oh God.
We were it was after my first trip to Egypt, and I come back to Kuwait, and Kuwait's all locked down.
Yeah.
So I'm out here now, and I'm doing some qigong on the beach,
Yeah.
and all I hear, I'm in my peace, you know, I'm in my zone.
Come
I'm in
on.
my zone.
Tapped in. You get me?
Tapped in.
You get me?
Get me? And
Yeah.
now all I hear is just, what are you doing? One of those, I just hear it in the back, and I'm like, that sounds like a Brummie accent, one. That sounds like UK, two.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a screw face with that.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Them ones. In Kuwait as well.
In Kuwait.
Yeah.
And so
Mad thing.
I look at her, and then we start having a friendly conversation. It's like, oh, you from? Where are you from?
Yeah,
and
them ones.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, shortly after that, we stayed in contact, and Shalina shortly after that became my client, one-to-one client. And we'd wake up. It was middle of the summer, so it was getting hot. It was unbearably hot by 10 a.m. And so we'd wake up at like 5 a.m. I'd pick her up, and we'd go to the beach. And we trained. We trained like back to back for probably like 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, intensely.
And then from there, you know, obviously you both, you know, obviously moved back to the UK, and you continued, you know, like you continued building your relationship. Did you, when you moved back to the UK, did you continue like training her, or you just obviously continued just building your friendship, if you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, well, Shalina's cool, man. So
very cool, man.
yeah, she's very, very cool, man. So I'd say that I didn't work. Maybe I worked with her like 1 or 2 or 3 more times.
Okay.
But more what it was me now being her guide.
Calm.
Essentially, I got her to the place she needed to be. She broke through the barriers she needed to in our sessions, and so because of that, she didn't need me anymore as intensely.
I hear you.
And that's good. That's what I want from people who work with me.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit before we move forward, yeah, just going back a little bit, one of the things that you touched on, like breath work, yeah? How important, like, I don't think, obviously, once again, we live in the information age, right? Like, the information is there for people to see. If people wanna tap in information and learn, they can, innit? But for those people who do not understand the importance of breath work, break it down to us.
You need it to live.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk to us. Jesus Christ, you need breath work to live. I thought I was already breathing. What's going on?
What's going on? Because a lot of us are out here
Yeah.
with minimal oxygen, in our brain.
Talk to us, please, Rees.
So the benefits of oxygen, of a better oxygen intake in your body, go from you having better nerve sensitivity. People with nerve issues can literally fix them, to having more oxygen and blood going to your brain regularly throughout the day, meaning that people who get like foggy mind, gone. People who need to sleep a lot, energy levels balanced. There are so many benefits of regularly either checking in with your breathing with mindfulness meditations, using qigong throughout your day in your business life. When high stress, you just one of these, 3 of these, and you'll notice as if like something has you've shifted from one place to another. This is very common. This is actually the whole part of it, is shifting from a certain part of your nervous system, which is called sympathetic nervous system, shifting from that into your parasympathetic nervous system. When you do this, you're going from fight or flight to rest and recover, rest and focus, rest and release.
Okay. And is there like a certain routine that people need to take? Meaning, like you see, like when you wake up during the day, like you see like what people say like with meditation, like sometimes people do it once a day, twice a day, depending on people. With breath work, like is there a certain amount of times during the day that people need to do it, or you can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, or a couple of times a day, depending on your schedule? How is that like?
It depends on you. It does. It depends on your lifestyle. I'd recommend try it all. Try it all. Me and a lot of people, most people, experiment with what works for you.
Brother, you're top 10, bro.
Yeah.
All I have to say, you're top 10. I feel your energy, so. But you know when somebody's so tapped in, even through the lenses, and you're like, bro, that brother there,
Big love.
something's going on right there. Whatever's going on there, continue doing whatever till you get me.
Yes.
So yeah, continue, bro. Sorry to even just stare off. Like, so it depends, like you were saying, it depends on the person.
It depends on the person. It depends on the lifestyle. It depends on what you've experienced of breath work, because it's one of those things where you can get out your comfort zone essentially, and like some of them are intense, some of them are vigorous, some of them might make you feel high, a good kind of high, but again, it depends on how experienced you are with breath work, because if you ain't experienced, you might perceive that sensation of being high as something like potentially dangerous, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But you just have to become more familiar with what happens when you have more oxygen.
I hear you.
How it feels.
I hear you, bro.
So becoming more grounded is really important, and that happens when you breathe more. Cool. That's
I hear you, bro.